Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another breakfast chat. And today, I thought I would chat with you guys a little bit about the silliness of recomping in the way that people think that it's going to work. All right, and I'm going to use a line that I've heard people like, that Dr. Mike out there has used, and it's you can't recomposition your way from 170 to 190 pounds. And it doesn't matter what some of the marketing people tell you. It doesn't matter what Athlete X, what Kinobody, right? It doesn't matter what they tell you. It doesn't matter what Greg Doucette tells you. It's completely irrelevant because that's marketing. It's marketing. And here's the thing. How many of these guys, and one of my clients brought this up to me because he used Kinobody stuff for a long time, spun his wheels, and I put 150 pounds on his deadlift, and he's actually gained a bunch of muscle over the last year. But he kind of had pointed that out. He's like, okay, you have guys like Greg saying, oh, you can make all these lean gains. Do an intermittent fasting of all things. All right, you're going to gain less muscle if you intermittent fast, period. Even with the same calories. That's its own separate topic. But you see this, and none of his followers achieve it. In other words, do you see people who are going to his seminars and events? Do you see people who are using his products, doing their before and afters? Are they getting his results? No, they're not getting those results because it doesn't work. And I happen to like him. Same thing, you've heard guys like Greg say, don't bulk, don't bulk. Athlete X will tell you, don't bulk. All right, and I know a lot of very successful coaches, and this conversation came up yesterday. I was chatting with Alan Bacon about it, and he coaches a lot of serious athletes, including bodybuilders. And he pointed out he hates it that people don't understand they're going to have to gain weight, they're going to have to gain body fat to get to their goals. And he's like, and for some people who think they're going to do it completely lean, they're probably going to have to do 4 or 5, 6 month bulks over the next few years to even reach their desired goal. He goes, otherwise it's not going to happen. We're not being mean by telling you this. We're not trying to make you fat. This is human biology. You're not going to get around it. You're not going to get around it without using a bunch of gear. And a lot of the methods that people prescribe to supposedly get you there are actually going to give you even less muscle gains, right? Again, cut down to a 6-hour feed window. Really? You really think you're going to gain muscle effectively doing that? It's going to be very difficult. It's extremely difficult. Intermittent fasting is a weight loss tool, right? People need to understand that. It is a weight loss tool. It will inhibit everything else that you do, okay? It will inhibit everything else that you do. It will make muscle gain slower, all other factors being equal. So how are you going to get big? How are you going to reach your muscle mass goals doing this stuff? It's a weight loss protocol. Same thing, guys who are trying to tell you, oh, you can cut down to 8% body fat and stay there year round and gain lots of muscle. It's not going to happen. And what do I mean by you can't recomp? Well, to get from 170 to 190, you're going to have to bulk. That's 20 pounds of weight gain. Now people say, well, I just want the 20 pounds of muscle. Well, you can shit in one hand and one in the other and see which one fills up faster. You're going to have to bulk. And even if you could gain just the pure muscle, 20 pounds of solid lean gains over, I don't know, you think you're going to do it in 3 years. You're going to have to gain 20 pounds. You're going to have to consume surplus calories over time to gain 20 pounds of body weight. And recomposition is not going to be meaningful. If you're not already carrying extra body fat or you're not a noob, you're not going to recomp. And when I talk about recomping for athletes and powerlifters and other people, I'm talking about guys who have bulked up to 20% body fat. Okay? They can recomp for a while. So I will tell a lot of times I have my lifters slow bulk and then they'll recomp. When they start getting a little too fluffy, they can spend a few months recomping. They'll lose a little bit of body fat. Right, they'll lose a few pounds of body fat, you lose a few pounds of muscle if everything is perfect. But that's a slow process. And that's only because we don't want to lose weight and risk losing strength for them. Right, that is an option. Other option is to bulk and cut. And look, let me explain this. If you're walking around 170 right now and you want to be at the same body composition at 190 later, you're probably going to have to bulk to 200 multiple times, right? Hopefully people understand that. To be at that 190, you're probably going to have to bulk to 200. In fact, at a certain point, as you get further in, you're probably going to have to bulk to 210. Now people will say, but Jason, people aren't gaining that much muscle. They can't justify that much weight gain. You're going to have to. You're going to have to just to get the muscle memory. Because yes, when you are gaining body fat, you gain muscle. And we know based upon data that's out there, people who get fatter can hold more muscle mass than a leaner person, even on the same frame as far as overall potential. By bulking up for a little while and staying there, you're going to change that. You're going to change your muscle memory, because even if you diet down later, what's going to happen? You're going to have changed some set points in your body. You're going to have changed the amount of muscle you have. You're going to change your muscle cell nuclei. And as that nuclei count goes down, that gives you muscle memory. Or as it goes up, that is remembered by your body. You can regain the muscle that you lost. So in other words, by bulking and cutting, you're going to be able to get to a larger overall size. So when you hear people talking about 24 and 25 fat-free mass index as being a natural limit, that's not going to be people who try to lean bulk. You're not going to get there trying to do only lean gains. Those are people who have usually pushed beyond. They've put on an extra 20 pounds more body weight than they really want to have ideally, and then they've trimmed back down, and they've probably done it several times. Okay, same thing. Let's look at people like, take Chris Jones. How many times have you watched that man over the years bulk up to where it was Fat Jones? He's done this forever. I don't even need to watch any current stuff because I don't. Guy will do bulks, put on 30 pounds, cut down, and will only have gained 1 pound of muscle for that year. But he does it 5 or 6 years in a row as a very advanced lifter. What happens? He ends up being able to gain 5 pounds of muscle more than he had. But that's what he has to do. Right? That's more realistic. That's believable. It's believable. All right? The only way you're going to do the other, especially if you follow someone like what Greg Doucette is saying, he uses a bunch of gear. He has always used a lot of gear. Right? He always has. And I'm not saying that's not the norm, but that is one of the only reasons he's been able to do some of the things he's done with body composition. You're not going to pull that off. You're not going to pull that off, guys. You have to be realistic about this. And again, not saying this to bring people down. I'm saying this so that people will actually be able to get the results that they want and not be tricked by these people with their marketing. Right? And the difference is, for some athletes, I understand some of you need to be in a weight class, in which case it's going to be a much, much slower process. But you also need to factor in, is your weight class appropriate for your frame and height? Because as many coaches have noted over the years, weight classes are just height classes in disguise. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.